So I'm heading out the grapevine garden because I've heard off another plot holder that my grapes are looking absolutely fantastic. So let's have a look. Wow, look at these grapes now. Look at those huge bunches. So I think I'm gonna have to do a good harvest of those as well because I think they're ready. They're a bit taut. Excuse me. So I obviously inherited those vines when I first came onto this plot, and this is the second year now. I don't know whether or not they're not an outdoor variety or maybe I should have them built over something, but if you've got any suggestions for a new vine for the grapevine garden, then please let me know, because I'm thinking about taking those vines out and putting a new one in and actually moving it to a better position. So if you've got a good suggestion for a good outdoor vine for South Wales, then let me know in the comments below. The apples, however, are looking absolutely fantastic, so let's give them a go. Fingers crossed these are better than the grapes at the front. Absolutely perfect. Finally. It's all ticking along really well at the grapevine garden, but I've got loads and loads of plans for this, and I think I'm going to be ripping out some of the beds after winter and moving the greenhouse, maybe even removing it completely off this plot and turning the front of the plot into a nice flower garden, and then putting all the raised beds at the bottom. But they're just plans, and you know what I'm like, I'll change them, but now the grapevine's going out, and I mean, imagine the grapevine garden without a grapevine. It just wouldn't work, would it? So I am going to put a new one in, but so I need suggestions for that, so don't forget to put it in the comments. And then I'm going to have more of a style of the fig and olive plot, because I'm actually really enjoying that type of gardening, and having all these raised beds just in rows and rows is just not doing it for me. And I just feel like this is just a food factory down here, and I'm not spending as much time down here. So the plan is to make this more appealing over the winter and in the spring, and then summer this should be a paradise as well. The sprouts are doing fantastic in here. They are really bulging on this net now, so I really need to think about hiring these hoops by just adding some poles underneath. But the sprouts are looking absolutely beautiful. Roll on Christmas dinner. So the beans have done well here, however there is gaps, and as always my bean production hasn't been as good as I want it to be. I always want to be sick to death of beans, and I'm not this year. I'm having quite a lot, but I always like giving a lot away as well. But next year I think I'm going to move it back to the other way I had it, because this just didn't work for me, and it's not getting as much sun, and also the wind was battering it at the start of the season, so they couldn't twist around the canes. But there's always another year. Right, let's head home, and I'll come back tomorrow because there's going to be a big overhaul at the fig and olive plot. See you in a minute. Good morning. So I've come over today, and yes, I'm wearing a white t-shirt. I will never learn, but there's a reason for that. I need to take a photograph for a certain, I'll tell you all about that in a future video because I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I'm going to regret wearing this. But let me show you something that has made me have a sharp lesson for next year. So these sunflowers, look how huge they are. They're honestly gigantic. I mean, this one must be at least 10 or 11 foot high now, and it was a reminder that I actually gave these seeds to a plot holder, and my biggest habit with sunflowers is that I always grow them and then I'm always too late putting them out. So that's a sharp lesson, that if you put them out at the right time, they grow like this and not like this. So yeah, lesson learned, plant them at the right time, don't stall them because they won't grow very big. So I've come over and it's wet, everything is drenched from the rain, but I want to sort out the polytunnel, strip all that back because that definitely needs to be done, because still no blight, fingers crossed, still no more blight, but I want to strip it right back now, just leave a lot of the foliage just on the top, everything else can go, and just concentrate on the fruit growing now. So that's one of the jobs today. So let's have a cuppa. So I've got my coffee and I'm just relaxing here now, but I thought I'd show you something different. A lot of people from across the pond and all over the world always ask me about these mountains over here. Can you see them through this jungle? But yeah, they always comment about my view and how lucky I am that I've got like such a nice view. So I thought I'd show you a few drone shots of the beautiful place that I live. I am so lucky that I live in an area that is surrounded by these beautiful mountains and lakes, and is always lush and green, and there's always a scene, you know, from here in the Fig and Olive, or also at the Grapevine Garden. I've got this beautiful view of where I live, so I hope you enjoyed those, because people have been asking about them for a while, and I thought today was the day that I thought, you know, I'll share some of the scenes I've got around in Wales. There's also been loads of action going on. I moved the camera to the pond area, and as you can hear, it's splashing away. But yeah, there's been hedgehogs coming back and forth there, robins, blackbirds, you know, you name it. And I'm just so pleased. I've said this before about the pond, but you get shocked how much nature gets drawn to a pond. So I think it's time that I strip back the polytunnel. It's well overdue. This time of year, you want to be focusing on fruit formation rather than leaves. So by stripping off the leaves, the plants will start focusing on ripening the fruit, because you don't want that. So more ventilation, less moisture, and obviously then there's less risk of diseases like blight. So let's get that done.
You make me nervous. I think I might be hooked on you. You said to me, it seems like you like me too. We can take it slow, make sure we do this right.
So I think since I've got an abundance of flowers on the plot now, a lot of cut flowers, you know, like the dahlias, so I think I'm going to pick a pile and, you know, at least have some benefit of putting some in the house, because there is loads on here. So I think that's what I'm going to do today as well, because I didn't expect to have this many dahlias on the plot. It's coming to the stage now where everything is dying back, and I'm actually quite excited. I'm excited that it'll all be wiped out. A new project, a new plan for next year, and honestly, this plot and also the Grapevine Garden, there's so much planned, honestly. I'm so excited to show you over the next couple of months. But for now, I think I'm gonna have to have another little prune, because I cannot get through the path. So I think it's time I get rid of some of the nasturtiums and some of the other plants that are just encroaching on the paths now. And as much as it's lovely, it's just too much. And I think next year I'm gonna learn that my paths need to be a little bit wider, and also not plant things so close to the edges. And every year you'll just remember that, okay, that shouldn't go there because it encroached on the paths, it took too much space up. And you know, every year you'll learn and improve and become a better gardener.
feeling in my bones, I can feel it in my veins. Hands in the sky, I can feel the winds of change. You live and you learn, and I hope I've seen enough to make something right and make up for what I've lost. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. Things turned around, didn't ever think they could. I'm done with the bad, I need a little bit of good. Settled in the world, like everything is new. Stepped on a path that led me straight to you. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Danny, and this is the Grapevine Garden.